I gave you 7 years of my life. I worked 3 jobs to send you to school. How could you do this to me? Her voice trembled as tears streamed down her face. Across the room stood the man she had loved for nearly a decade. He looked at her coldly, emotionless, detached. Listen, he said bluntly, avoiding her eyes. I don't want to see you here again. I've moved on. The words felt like knives tearing through her chest. How could you do this to me? She whispered, barely able to breathe. You will regret this, she said through sobs. But the man had already turned away. He had married someone else. After everything she had sacrificed for him. After 8 long years of struggle. 8 years of loyalty. 8 years of believing in a promise. What happened next would become one of the most unforgettable stories people in their state would talk about for years. Welcome to African Tales, where real emotions meet unforgettable stories. This story begins in a small, quiet village. That's where Adanna first met Chuka. It was after Sunday service at their local church. Adanna was only 22 years old, a hard-working young woman who sold roasted corn by the roadside to help support her aging mother. Chuka was 23, brilliant, ambitious, but extremely poor. His dreams were far bigger than the small village they lived in. One evening, he ran toward her house, holding a letter tightly in his shaking hands. I got it, he shouted breathlessly. Adanna rushed outside. What happened? I got the letter. I was accepted into medical school. For a moment she froze. Then she screamed with joy. She hugged him tightly, laughing and crying at the same time. The entire village had prayed for this moment. Chuka was the pride of the community, the brilliant boy who would one day become a doctor. But their joy didn't last long. A few hours later, reality hit. The tuition is 250,000 naira per year, Chuka said quietly. His voice broke. My family doesn't even have 250,000 naira in total. He stared at the ground. This dream is over before it even begins. That night, Adanna couldn't sleep. She lay awake thinking about Chuka's dream, thinking about the future they had always talked about. Then she made a decision that would cost her nearly everything. The next morning she found him sitting outside. I'll help you, she said. Chuka laughed bitterly. Ada, how? We can barely feed ourselves. She held his hands firmly. I'll work. I'll send you money every month. You focus on studying. Chuka stared at her in disbelief. But what about you? You wanted to go to university too. Adanna smiled softly. I can go later. This is your chance. Our chance. Then she looked directly into his eyes. But promise me something. What? Promise me you'll marry me after you graduate. Her voice trembled. Promise me this sacrifice won't be for nothing. Chuka's eyes filled with tears. I promise. The day I graduate, I will marry you. They hugged each other tightly. 2 young people in love. 2 hearts believing their sacrifice would lead to forever. 3 months later, Chuka left for medical school in the city. And Adanna began the hardest chapter of her life. Her routine became brutal. She woke up at 4 a.m. every morning. First job, housemaid for a wealthy family. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of children. At 2 p.m., she rushed to the marketplace. There she sold vegetables from a small wooden stall. But her day wasn't over. 3 nights a week she worked as a night security guard, staying awake until dawn, protecting someone else's shop. She slept in a tiny room with 5 other girls. She ate only 1 small meal a day, usually just gari and groundnuts. She owned only 3 outfits. Every single coin she earned was carefully saved. At the end of each month, she walked to a money transfer office and sent 70% of her income to Chuka. The receipt became her most precious possession. The phone calls kept her going. "Ada, the money arrived," Chuka would say. "Thank you so much." She would smile, even through exhaustion. "Are you studying well?" "Yes." "But how are you managing?" he would ask. "I'm fine," she'd reply. "Just focus on becoming the best doctor. I love you." At night, she opened a small notebook. Inside she had written, "Year 1 of 8 completed." She counted the years like a prisoner counting days until freedom. She even drew wedding dress designs in the margins. She wrote the names of future children: Chidara, Kioma, Obiageli. She imagined their future life together. Her roommate once warned her, "Ada, you're destroying yourself for someone far away. What if he leaves you?" Adanna laughed. "He won't. We love each other. This is our dream." As the years passed, things slowly changed. During her 4th-year visit to the city, Adanna noticed something strange. When Chuka's classmates approached, he introduced her awkwardly. "This is Adanna. She's from my village. Not my girlfriend. Not my future wife. Just someone from his village." Later that evening he told her, "You must be tired. Rest at the hotel. I'll just go out with my classmates for dinner." He returned 4 hours later, smelling of expensive wine. Adanna ignored the warning signs. "He's just stressed," she told herself. "He still loves me." But the phone calls got shorter, from 1 hour to 15 minutes, then even less. By year 6, he forgot her birthday. In year 7, Chuka met someone. Her name was Florence. She was wealthy, elegant, confident. Everything Adanna wasn't. She entered the hospital for a minor cosmetic procedure, and she noticed the handsome young doctor immediately. "You're very good at this," she told him. Her voice was smooth, flirtatious. She wore designer clothes. She smelled like expensive perfume. "Would you like to get coffee after your shift?" she asked. He should have said no. He should have mentioned Adanna. But he didn't. Coffee turned into dinner, giving rise to the dinner-night life cycle concept. Dinner transformed into weekends, with Chuka soon being introduced to Florence's sophisticated world. Luxury residences, expense-priced eateries, influential connections. One evening, his father called him privately. "I wish you to marry my daughter," he said. Chuka remained frozen without a response. The man continued, a calming tone in his voice. "I will provide you with a clinic of your own. Prime location with brand new equipment. Everything you need to do is marry Florence." That evening, Chuka gazed at himself in the mirror, his mind dwelling on Adanna. Afterward, he revisited the life offered to him. He made a decision, a choice that changed his world forever. The following morning he called Florence. "I accept your proposal," he said confidently. From then on, Chuka removed Adanna from his life entirely. He ceased answering phone calls and replying to messages. Finally, he decided to marry Florence. A lavish wedding with hordes of guests, costlier champagne, designer dresses, and everything else that a luxurious wedding entailed. Meanwhile, Adanna was still juggling 3 jobs and saving for her wedding, still holding on to a promise, until one day, a friend emailed her a screenshot of a wedding photo. featuring Dr. Chuka with another woman. That shot shattered her world. Before long, Adanna spoke to him, her voice trembling. "Wait, why?" Chuka's answer was cold. "I've moved on," he said without any hesitation. He didn't ask her to sacrifice her life for him. Those words left her utterly broken, as her world shattered entirely. Over the 8 years since, Chuka had vanished. That the story didn't end there. Emma stepped in. Not with promises, not with pity, but with opportunity. He offered her a job, supported her education, encouraged her to rebuild her life. And slowly, Adanna rose again, stronger, smarter, more successful. 2 years later, Chuka's life collapsed. Florence divorced him. Her family took back the clinic. His reputation suffered. And suddenly, he remembered the woman who had loved him when he had nothing. Adanna. He called her again, crying. But this time, she was no longer the broken girl he left behind. She had rebuilt her life, and she had found real love. With Emma,